What's up, guys? It's your girl Jamie coming to you with another message from A.W.A.R.D House. This evening, I want to talk to you about the biggest question I get asked the most, which is why don't I carry a walking stick or walk with a CNI dog? Well, it's because of three reasons. The most important reason is my own insecurities. The second is I don't like the stigma and stereotypes that are attached to people with disabilities and mental illness. Third, I don't like the treatment that people endured in the early days by the general public once they realized that they had a disability. Before I talk to you about the most important thing, I want to tell you about the treatment that people with disabilities and mental illnesses endured back in the early days. So once the general public, even your family, knew that you had a disability, they shut you off from society. They will lock you in institutions. If you or your family have money, they cap you in your home but locked you in an attic or a basement because they didn't want you to be associating with society. They felt like you were a disease and it would spread if you were amongst the population. These people will also do some crazy things like they will force women to have hysterectomies so that they couldn't reproduce because they felt like if you reproduce and had a baby, then that baby would have the same disability or mental illness that you had. They perform electroshock treatment on these individuals without their consent, where they would shock the brain because we all know the brain controls a lot of our functions in our body. So they felt like if they could shock the brain and they could shock out whatever is causing you to be disabled or have a mental illness. And I just felt like that treatment was crazy and it was wrong. And it affects people who are disabled in so many different ways. And it has truly affected me. Even though times have changed, the stereotypes and stigmas are still attached because of the treatment in the early days. People thought that if you were amongst us, you were stupid, lazy, crippled, and invalid. You were ugly. You were the result of a sin because back again in the early days, they figured people who were like us were cursed. We were an evil spirit, and it was because we were paying for the sins of our family. And they thought that if one of your family members committed a crime or adultery, anything of that nature, and then someone had a baby and that baby was disabled, then guess what? You were the result of that sin. And because of those stereotypes and stigmas, it really hurts people like us. And it makes us walk with our head held down instead of our head being held high because there's so many wrong stigma and stereotypes against us to the point that it doesn't even make sense. Like these negative views hurts our feelings so bad, and it's not even funny on how people can think the other things that they think just because we have a medical condition. As a result of that, I don't want to walk with a walking stick or use a CNI dog because I don't want people looking at me and saying and recognizing my disability and like, oh, she's blind, she must be this or she must be that. I bet you she depends on everybody else to take care of her. She's a nobody. Like, I've made so many accomplishments in my life, and I have accomplished the things in my life because people don't know that I'm disabled. I feel like if people knew that I'm disabled, then things would change. So I just rather not walk with a walking stick or use a CNI dog. And I mean, it's sad, but that's truly how I feel. Like, I feel my self-esteem is compromised if I'm walking with a walking stick or a seeing eye dog. Like, I have nothing against people who do use them, but with who I am today, I'm not at a comfortable place in my life to where I want to walk with a walking stick or use a seeing eye dog. Like, God has blessed me with some vision, so I take the vision that I do have and I walk with my head held high. And I do this by not using any assistive device I need, because that's not who I am and that wasn't who I was. So I just rather not use a walking stick or a seeing eye dog until the time is ready. And plus, I have a wonderful support system behind me that truly does assist me when I'm in a need of their eyes, as you can say. Like, if I need to go up some steps and I don't know exactly the difference between one step to another, I have wonderful friends and family that make sure I step up them steps and go down them steps right. Like, so I feel like I don't need it. But again, a lot of that comes from just the treatment of the disabled, and it just damages me to the point where I just rather be who I am and stay true to myself and just not use those type of devices. And it's crazy, but it is what it is, and life is never what we make it out to be. So I just have to run with the way I feel and know that I feel better if I don't use a walking stick or a seeing eye dog. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because so many people always ask me, why don't I use a walking stick or a seeing eye dog? And they always say I don't look like the average blind person. I don't know what the average blind person looks like, but I guess there's a look to being blind. And again, that's the stereotypes against the disabled, because they feel like they can spot a disabled person just by the front cover. But as you can see by looking at me, the only thing you can say about me is that I have big eyes. But hey, those big eyes are not because I'm blind. So, once again, you can't look at me and say that I'm blind. And I like it that way. So I thank everybody for listening to me and tuning in and supporting me. And remember, if nobody else loves you, I love you. Thank you.